The forest outside Millhaven had a quiet all its own, a silence so deep it felt like a living thing. Sergeant Luke Anders and his K-9 partner, Rook, were returning from a routine patrol when they heard it. A soft, ragged cry on the thrum of the night wind. Between twisted pines, drenched in blood and mud, a girl appeared, barely conscious, her eyes wide with terror. She didn't speak, but she clutched something pressed to her chest. Rook growled low, his gaze locked on her. Luke felt a cold knot in his gut. This was no accident. Before we begin Chapter 1, here's a subtle reminder. If you appreciate stories like this, please like and subscribe for more immersive narratives. The night air was heavy with the scent of pine and rain-soaked earth. Moonlight cut jagged shapes through the branches, and somewhere deep in the forest a branch snapped, soft, deliberate. Sergeant Luke Anders adjusted his flashlight, the beam trembling slightly in his gloved hand. Rook, his German shepherd, moved ahead with unnatural precision, ears pinned forward, breathing low and steady. Luke hated walking at night in the woods, not because of the dark, but because of what the dark hid. In Millhaven, rumors moved faster than facts. Some said the forest kept secrets for generations. Others whispered of disappearances no one dare report. Luke knew better. The forest simply ate those secrets quietly. They had been walking back from a perimeter check when the sound came, a low, strangled cry, carried faintly through the pine. Luke froze. Rook's hackles rose. The dog barked once, sharply, then lunged toward the underbrush. Luke followed, boots sinking into mud. The beam of his flashlight hit something writhing in the shadows. Blood glistened on wet earth. There she was, a girl no older than 19. Her clothes were torn, soaked through, plastered to her skin. Her face was pale, her lips trembling. Her left arm rested awkwardly at her side, bent at an unnatural angle. Her breath came in ragged gasps. She didn't speak, not a word, but she clutched something to her chest, a small object wrapped in fabric, pressed close as if her life depended on it. Luke dropped to one knee, scanning quickly for threats. "It's okay. I'm Anders." "You're safe now," he said softly. His voice sounded steadier than he felt. Rook's low growl continued, even as the girl's eyes flicked toward him. She blinked once, then twice, her gaze locked on Luke. She mouthed something, almost a whisper, but the words vanished into the rustle of leaves. Luke glanced around. There was no sign of pursuit, but instinct told him otherwise. "We need to get her out of here." He motioned toward Rook, who sat at attention, staring down the path they had just come. "Careful. Something's wrong." Luke shifted the girl gently to his shoulder, but she flinched violently, a sharp intake of breath cutting off her movement. Her face twisted with pain, and she gripped the bundle tighter. Luke noticed faint symbols etched into her forearm, something unnatural. They were black and smeared as if burned or carved. He swallowed. That alone would have set off alarms in Millhaven PD. Back at the station, the small rural building smelled of coffee, old wood, and something metallic. Anders set the girl on a bench in a dim corner, Rook lying beside her, still alert. He called for Dr. Larkin, the station's medic, who arrived quickly, her brow furrowed at the sight. "Trauma," she said softly, checking the girl's pulse. "We need to move her." Luke stepped aside. He watched Larkin work, her hands steady but eyes sharp. The girl winced with each movement. Then, without warning, she gasped and whispered, her voice raw and trembling. "They'll kill us if they find it." The word sent a chill through Luke's spine. He glanced at her face. Fear. Pure, unfiltered fear. But there was something else. Determination. Before he could speak, she shifted slightly, her fingers brushing the fabric bundle. Luke's curiosity was piqued, but he held back. For now, he needed answers, and she needed protection. Dr. Larkin looked up from her examination. "We should keep her here. Nobody leaves until we know what we're dealing with." Luke nodded. "Agreed." Then he glanced at Rook. The dog's ears twitched, and his low growl deepened. Something was coming, and whatever it was, it wouldn't stop. The storm came overnight. Rain hammered the station roof, rattling loose shingles. while wind moaned through the gaps in the old wooden structure. Sergeant Anders sat alone in the back room, Rook lying at his feet, ears twitching at every sound. Outside, Millhaven was nothing but black shadows and rain-soaked silence. The girl, she still hadn't spoken more than a breath or two. Larkin had patched her wounds, but her injuries were severe. Her arm was broken. Deep bruises ran up her side, and the fabric bundle she clutched remained tightly pressed against her chest, hidden. Luke wanted answers, but she refused his eyes. Her breathing was shallow, as though speaking itself cost her strength. Luke pulled his chair closer, lowering his voice. You can't stay silent forever. Whoever hurt you is still out there. Her eyes flickered open, slow and wet, staring through him. They can't know. His stomach tightened. That kind of fear wasn't ordinary. That was something far deeper, the kind born of nightmares. A knock rattled the door. Larkin stepped in, her face pale beneath the harsh fluorescent light. We have a situation. In the briefing room, Detective Harrow waited, his expression unreadable. He was a man of contradictions, a seasoned investigator with a history of bending rules, known for pushing boundaries others wouldn't. To Luke, he was both an asset and a question mark. What is it? Luke asked. Harrow placed a small, worn folder on the table. Inside were photographs, the girl moments before she was found, taken by a security camera somewhere deep in the forest. The images showed her alone, stumbling, clutching the bundle. In the last frame, a shadow loomed behind her, impossibly tall, distorted, something that didn't look human. Luke swallowed hard. Where did you get these? They came from a local feed, Harrow said. Security footage from outside the Millhaven logging site. No one will admit it exists. But they do, and they've been monitoring her. The girl's name was Alara. Harrow had pulled her records from somewhere deep in the county archives. Nothing recent. Just fragments of information. Her family vanished years ago in strange circumstances. Her life erased. Now she'd turned up in Luke's station, injured, carrying something that no one dared name. Luke studied her in silence. Every instinct screamed to protect her. But Harrow leaned forward, eyes dark. Sergeant, we need to know what's inside that bundle. Whatever it is, it's worth killing for. A knock at the door interrupted them. A local patrol officer entered, breathless. Sergeant Anders, there's someone outside. They say they're looking for you. Luke exchanged a look with Harrow. They both knew what that meant. This was no random visitor. Outside the station, rain spat harder, thunder rolling in the distance. Luke grabbed his flashlight, pushing through the station's back door with Rook at his heels. In the gloom, a figure stood, soaked to the bone. He stepped forward, tall, broad-shouldered, face hidden beneath a soaked hood. His voice was low, measured. Luke Anders. Luke's hand went to his holster, but Harrow's voice stopped him. Wait! The man dropped his hood. His face was familiar. Someone Luke had seen only in old case files. Elias Ward, a former investigator who had disappeared 5 years earlier. His eyes were cold, calculating. She's carrying something dangerous, Ward said quietly, and they'll kill anyone who finds out. Luke's heart thudded. Who's they? Ward looked toward the station, then back at him. People who've been watching her since birth. People who made sure she stayed hidden. You've got no idea what she holds. Before Luke could respond, Ward stepped into the rain, disappearing into the black. Rook growled low, refusing to move. The station lights flickered, and then went out. Inside, the girl stirred. She lifted her head, whispering something Luke couldn't hear. She clutched the bundle tighter. And in that moment, Anders knew the storm outside was nothing compared to what was coming. Rain hammered the forest roads like an endless drumbeat. Millhaven Station sat in darkness, save for the dim glow of a single emergency light. Inside, Sergeant Anders paced, his mind a tangled web of suspicion. Outside, Rook stood rigid by the door, ears locked toward the sound of approaching footsteps. Harrow leaned over the table, where Alara lay. Her breathing was uneven, but her eyes were open now, sharper, more aware. She kept the bundle pressed against her chest, as though it were the last piece of her life. Luke couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't just hiding something. She was something, The knock came again, louder this time. Ward's voice carried from outside. "It's time." Luke hesitated. Harrow stepped forward, pulling a revolver from his coat. "We either open it now, or we let them kill her and us." Illyra's gaze flicked between them, her voice breaking. "You don't understand. If it's open, they will come." Luke swallowed hard. "They're already here, Illyra. The moment we found you, it started." With a trembling hand, she loosened her grip and pulled the bundle away. Inside was a small wooden box, carved with strange runes that glimmered faintly even under the dim light. Luke felt the air shift, heavy, charged. Rook growled low, his body stiffening. Harrow reached toward the box, but Luke placed his hand over his. "You don't know what you're touching," Luke said. Ward stepped into the station, soaked and silent, eyes fixed on the box. "It's not just an object," he said, voice low. "It's a truth, one worth killing for. They'll burn this town to the ground to keep it hidden." Luke's hand clenched around the box. "Then what the hell is it?" Illyra whispered something so faint Luke had to lean close to hear. The truth of the disappeared. Before anyone could react, the station exploded in light, unnatural, blinding. The air felt electric, and an oppressive hum filled the room. The runes on the box pulsed like a heartbeat. Then came the sound, low, resonant, like thousands of voices whispering in the dark. Harrow froze. Ward stepped back, his face pale. Luke felt the floor tremble beneath him. Rook barked, a sound sharp with warning. And then she spoke, her voice breaking. "They know we have it, and they'll come for it." Suddenly, the door burst open. Figures move in the storm, cloaked, silent, their faces hidden. They move like shadows, surrounding the station. Harrow raised his weapon, but Ward pulled him back. "They're not here to talk," Ward said. "They're here to take it." Chaos erupted. Gunfire rang out. Luke grabbed Illyra and pulled her toward the back exit. Rook at his side, snarling at the intruders. Harrow stayed behind, fighting. Luke could hear Ward's voice in the fray, calling her name, warning her to run. They broke into the storm, rain slicing across their faces. Somewhere behind them, the station burned. Shadows moved in the trees, closing in. Illyra stumbled. Luke caught her. "We have to get to the ridge. They can't follow us there." Her grip on the box tightened. "You don't understand. It's not just a secret. It's why they kill, and why I'm running. For the first time, I can't hide it anymore." Luke looked at her, fear, confusion, and something like resolve in her eyes. They reached the ridge, the storm howling around them. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew faint, replaced by a silence so deep it felt alive. Illyra sank to her knees. The box clutched her chest. "You need to know the truth," she said. "They were my family, and they took me to keep it hidden." Before Luke could respond, she opened the box. Light spilled into the night, a light that carried voices, memories, and a terrible clarity. It was a truth so vast, so dangerous, it could not be spoken. And in that moment, Luke knew everything had changed. Harrow's voice came from behind them, low and broken. "Luke, we have to decide. Keep it or destroy it." Rook growled at the box. Illyra whispered one last thing before falling silent. "It's not ours to keep." Luke took the box from her hands and stepped into the storm. Rain washed over them, carrying away the last of the fear. Somewhere in the dark, a voice called, low and knowing. The forest fell quiet.